Hi, so I've been getting a lot of questions on that ocean tutorial thing I've made, and a lot of people asking some fairly beginner questions, which I do get, and even though the description says it's not a beginner tutorial, I've been seeing a lot of people have been trying to replicate it and just failing flat out. So I'm gonna make probably my first long tutorial ever, and probably my last. I'm not a tutorial person. So if this is unpolished, it's your fault, man. Okay, cool. Let's start by making an ocean. Cool. So delete everything in your scene. We're gonna add a plane. Cool. Scale that plane by 5. It can be 10, whatever. Go into edit mode. Just use this button to go into edit mode, and we're gonna subdivide this thing. Now, in the old Blender, there was like a really cool subdivide button here in the tools panel, but I can't seem to get it, so if anyone knows, just tell me in the comments. But usually I've ended up like just using the search menu. On my Blender it says spacebar, because I've set it to spacebar, but on your side it will probably be F3, so just keep that in mind. Okay, cool. So select your plane and search for subdivide, subdivided by 100 cuts. Cool. Okay, click away from this and select it again and search subdivide again, and we're gonna subdivide it twice. That's if your machine can handle it. Like, if your machine can't handle this, stick to your 100 cuts, but I find the more detail you have, the better the caustic effects will come through. Okay, and now we're gonna extrude this up. Oh yeah, I just enabled this little move gizmo thing. So press E to extrude and just move it up on the Z-axis. Make like a fairly large chunk of this. Cool. Go out of edit mode by pressing tab or using this menu, and then just move your cube down. Cool. That's our ocean. Okay, cool. Now to make the actual ocean look like an ocean, we're gonna go to add modifier, and we're gonna click ocean. Cool. As you'll see, this is not a cube anymore. You want to set generate to this place. Okay, something's changed. Now if I'm gonna play around with this time slider on my ocean, you can see like it's just like this weird swooshy thing. So let's change the size value to something down, 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 down. Okay, what's spatial size? Spatial size does absolutely nothing. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't know what these options do unless you have actually tweaked them. Resolution. Okay, so you'll see it's a little bit chunky now. Like, what's going on? Okay, first off, you want to apply the scale. So we're gonna press Control A to apply scale, and just for like good manners, just apply scale, rotation, and location, or you can apply all transformations. Cool. Now your ocean would look a little bit more like an ocean, but it's still a little bit of a plastic bag. So we're gonna change the size till we don't get like this repetition, but we're gonna just get the main ocean itself. Now it's still a little bit pixelated. Now how you fix that is change the resolution from 7 to 12. It's still a little bit pixelated, so let's go to 22. Much better. But if I were to slide this time thing, my machine might crash because this is a lot of calculations to handle. So for time being, we're gonna have to be fine with 12 or something just below 12, like something a decent machine can handle. Like, if your machine can't handle this, don't subdivide your plane as much. So you can see like we can like animate this now. So we're gonna take our timeline, drag it a little bit up, and we're gonna change time from 1. Wait. Yeah, we're gonna press I to insert a keyframe on the time slider, and now you'll see it's yellow. That means it has been keyframed. So we're just gonna go to like maybe 30 or 40. 30 it is, and we're gonna take this time and we're gonna like drag it out until it's probably like 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. We're gonna press I again with your timeline set to 30. Okay, press I on the time, and you'll see it's yellow again. Now, if I were to play this, hey, you can see our ocean is animated. Now, the thing is, it's not going to go on indefinitely. We want it to go on indefinitely, and we want the keyframes to be set to linear. So if you press T, here you're gonna be it's probably gonna be set to Bezier. Now, just to show you the professional way of doing it, we're gonna press Shift E, and you'll see this little pop-up menu, and we're gonna set it to linear extrapolation. That means it's just gonna go on forever now. So you have basically just an infinite going ocean. It's not gonna be looping, it's just gonna be an infinite simulation. Okay, now for the cool part is we're gonna add a cube. Where's the cube? It's inside. So take this cube and scale it up, pull it a little bit up, and we're gonna call this domain. Cool. Probably select your ocean and call it ocean as well. Ocean. Okay. Now with your ocean selected, go to the modifiers panel and add a bowline. Bowline is basically subtract, add, or whatever weird functions it has. Cool. We're gonna use this drop pick tool, and we're gonna select domain. Alternatively, you can just click here and type out domain and find the domain object. Now, if we go into wireframe, you can see our domain just subtracted a huge chunk out of the ocean. We're gonna change difference to, is it intersect? Hey, it's intersect. Nice. Okay, now back to solid mode. We're gonna go to this little object properties panel here, and we're gonna go to viewport display, and we're gonna change textured to bounds. Okay, change visibility to, nah, we're not gonna bug with that now. We're gonna press M with our domain selected and move that to a new collection. Call that domain. Okay. Now back here on our outliner, we're gonna press this little filter option. Go press enable this viewport screen option and enable the renders option. Cool. Now we're gonna select this this collection, and we're going to disable this screen, and we're going to disable this render. Now if you were to render this in cycles or Eevee, you wouldn't be seeing that domain. Just to be safe, and disable it for like the domain itself and not the whole collection. Just disable those two. Okay, now just to make sure our ocean is still plain and it's has a smooth cut on the sides, which is really nice. Now, in our finish, we should probably enable Shade Smooth. So, right-click on this, Shade Smooth. Hey, you can see it's not as pixelated, but it's still a little bit pixelated. We're gonna change that once we render this scene. Now, we're gonna go from Layout to Shading. Just make more space. Select the ocean, and make a new material. Call it Ocean. Okay, now for the fun part. We're gonna add a normal node. Oh, if you're curious like how I get this, it's just Shift A. Let me enable screencast on this one as well. Why isn't... That's odd. That's really, really odd. Okay, so yeah, it's Shift A or add search. We're going to be using the search function a lot. Don't bother just searching for these things, it's way faster. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to add a geometry. Geometry, plug normal, this purple dot into the purple dot. Now, go back to material and plug normal. No, we're going to use the dot factor. What does dot means? I have no idea, it's just basically black and white. So you'll see we have this. Okay, cool. Now, we want this to be on the inside. I'll explain a little bit about that later. So, we're gonna add a mapping node. Now, what I used to do in the previous tutorial, I was just like gonna drag this little thing upside down, and that's a no-no. That's just like the sloppy way of doing things. So we're gonna use a mapping node to rotate it on is it the y-axis? Yes, it is the y-axis. So we're gonna rotate it by 180, which means it just flips it upside down. Where's the normally? You're asking, it's inside or below, depending where you want to see it. Cool. Now, we're going to have to switch over to cycles. Cycles. Switch CPU to GPU if you have that option. I highly recommend this is going to be a GPU project. Just disable here, because we don't need that. And go to your little earth icon and world properties, that's what it's called. Change your color by clicking this little dot and go to your sky texture. Now nothing has happened because we're still in our material view. So switch over to your render view, and as you can see, it's loading up and it's just black. Okay, we're gonna fix that later. So press C to like have this little circle thing and use your scroll wheel to select your nodes. Move that up. Let's add back our principled shader for now. Okay, and now super importantly, we're gonna add a sun. Make sure your collection is selected and add a sun lamp. Cool. Just give that sun some rotation, double R to rotate it on in like this weird axis. I think it's the view axis or something. Anyway, change the strength to 5. Not important, but it just looks better. Okay, cool. Select your ocean. Now we're gonna change roughness to 0. Someone told me specularity does nothing when transmission is on, but I just feel like it does something. But even though it doesn't do anything, it just makes me feel good. I'm gonna change transmission to a full 1. Cool. Now, another thing I did in the tutorial was like I made my ocean a color. Now, if you want to do a stylized ocean, you can make blue water, but water isn't blue. It's the oxygen that gets like compressed, and that's what's blue. So for now, just for good manners, we're gonna leave the principled white. Okay, so specular doesn't matter. Roughness 0, transmission 1. Transmission makes it into a gloss material. Now we're gonna get back to this thing. So drag them up, and we're gonna add a mix shader. Mix shader. Oh, this is gonna be important. We're gonna need to see our shadow. So with your little 3D cursor, we're gonna have to take it back to the center. So Shift S, keep it in, and cursor to world origin. Cool. It's to be centered. We're just gonna add a plane. Cool. Make this plane big. Make a new material. Just make it a gray, just like that. And we can see the shadow now. Cool. Select your ocean, and we're gonna plug this dot into here. Cool. And we're gonna add a transparent. Cool. And that has done something. Yeah, we're gonna change this transparent to, oh, this is the super important part. We're gonna have to use this transparent to make like the caustic effect. So right now it's taking away bits of the shadows, but it's not actually like multiplying the sun value. So this is, I have no idea, this shouldn't actually be working, but it does. So we're gonna change this value to 2. Ah, you can see it's glowing a little bit more here now. Just move this plane up so it's like intersecting a little bit. Okay, cool. Select your ocean, and we're gonna do some 2D effects. So we're gonna add a light path node. What does a light path node does? Okay, not English. Okay, so we're gonna take is shadow ray and plug that into the factor. Now, as you can see, that took away the shadow, and it tells Cycles, hey, where the shadow should be, use this transparent thing. Like, we just essentially made a mask using light paths. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to multiply this. So we're going to add a mix RGB. Bloop. Oh, if they connect automatically like that, I highly suggest you install Blender Node Wrangler. It's in the add-ons menu. Just Google how to install an add-on. I'm not going to show you how to do that. Okay, so connect a mix RGB to that. Set mix to multiply. Change this factor to 1 and plug dot into the second color. Now, nothing has changed. But we're going to have to like add some contrast to wherever those nodes fall, right? So just to like visualize what's happening right now, we're gonna plug this multiply output into our surface material output. Now we're gonna go inside and okay, take this dot output and plug it into the surface. Now it will be like just black and white. This is essentially just the dot value. So we're gonna add a color ramp this up, and we're gonna play with this till we get like a really cool caustic effect. So like just take these black and white sliders and move them up. Okay, there's something happening. Okay, so we want the pointy bits. So just like take this white, flip it over, invert it till you get these nice babies, right? Okay, and that's gonna be the caustic effect. Nice. Now, one major issue. You see these whites on these sides? So if we were to mix that in with the light path node, in fact, let me just show you. So we're gonna take this, mix that with the light path nodes, okay, and let's just show you the shader. Cool. There's the issue. You see that like white chunk here? Like we have nice caustic effects going here, but we have like this white chunk. So to minimize that ugliness, we're gonna have to add another normal. And this is gonna tell which part is the top part and which part is the bottom part. So we're probably gonna plug this mapping. In fact, let me check. Okay. You know what? Delete this normal and we're gonna add a multiply. So we're gonna multiply this with this. Hey, look at that. Okay, so just to recap. Okay, we have an upside down normal, and since its color ramp is flipped, that means the sides will be like the sides will be like pure white. So just like remove that sides by like adding a multiply and just multiply it out with itself again. It's a little bit weird now, but it does the job. So I'm just gonna zoom in so you can like get a nice screenshot of this. By the way, really cool shortcut, Alt Shift S. Alt Shift S? Oh no, it's Windows Shift S, and then you like get to make like this really cool snippet tool. So Windows Shift S. Yeah, cool. And we're like almost done. Now the main thing that's gonna be needed. We're gonna add a volume. So search for a volume. Either we can go with volume scatter or principled volume, but principled volume has volume absorption like pre-calculated in, so we didn't have to worry about that. So we're gonna change this color to like bright white and a little bit of blue. Plug this volume into volume, and ooh, this is a really cool thing. But it's a little bit too thick. The density is way too thick. So 0.02. Okay, 0.1. Something's happening. You can see like the nice caustics we're getting. I hate this, but like let's give it more color, and 0.4. Take that down. In fact, I'm gonna, if you have the option again, I'm gonna enable my RTX, so we just have like a faster preview of this. And there you can see we have like, we're starting to get this really nice caustic effect. So we're just gonna take the sun lamp, pull it a little bit down. Okay, now, okay, another thing with our transparent option, we can change this color to like blue. So it's like this emissive blue, it's shining down now. And let's just give it more volume. Here you can see, or you're like starting to get the results. Now, to stylize it, I'm a little bit against this, but let's make it a little bit blue. And there you have an ocean. Ta-da! With caustic effects. Now just to see like the result better, I suggest you like stick a monkey into it. Stick a monkey into it. Yeah. There's our monkey. As you can see we have like really nice refraction going on it. Let's add another monkey down here. Hey, you can like see the caustic effects like just penetrating the surface, and it's like, oh man, this is so beautiful. Now if the shadow is like too dark for you, like a little cheaty thing what you can do is you can go back to this ramp and select the black one and make it a little bit dark gray, so it like lets the light in a lot more. Just lift it up. As you can see, like it starts to affect this side. So okay, now we have an ocean. I'll show you how to do the foam right now. It's essentially, we're just gonna do another one of these normal maps or just normal nodes and use another color ramp to define the pointy sections of the top part. If you want more caustics to like let it through, just gonna make it a little bit darker, and I would like take this white slider a little bit back, and in theory that it's gonna be the black one, so you want to take the dark one and move it a little bit back so you like let more light through it. This is just changing your mask, tallying cycles, which parts needs more energy to go through, and that's it. Okay, now we want some foam. There are like plenty of ways to do it. Like the proper way you would be doing it is like if you were to actually bake out, you can see bake ocean, but I'm pretty sure there's like better tutorials covering that than I would. Yeah, so is this still recording? Hey, it is. Okay, so we're gonna take this normal, so select this normal and geometry node, duplicate that and connect the normal to the little purple dot, and we're gonna plug this dot value into here to see what we're doing, and we're gonna add a ramp, color ramp, okay, and again do the same, just take this, yeah, so we want to invert this, so cool, okay, and you can see like we're starting to get this foam pattern, so we're gonna add this is really important, so you want to add a mix shader, but we don't want to connect the foam after this one. We want still light to go through. So if we were to add a diffuse here, and we were to like mix this in, and let me just show you. So we're gonna take this thing here and plug it in. So we're like taking this mask, but you can see this utterly just removed all of our shaders, and it's just like what's going on this side. Like, yeah, this is just weird. So what you want to do is you want to take this mix shader and plug it in, connect it to the principal shader. Okay, take your diffuse, plug your diffuse into this bottom slot. Okay, and we're gonna just organize this a little bit. I'm just gonna scooch this way over here. So this is just our normal, our normal setup with a color ramp to give our foam a mask. So we're gonna plug this color output into mix shader, the factored. Hey, you can see, okay, this is going smoothly, but how do we get rid of this black? Okay, now same what we did here, we inverted, or like we just multiplied it. So we're gonna add a mix RGB, change mix to multiply, set factor to full 1, plug dots into the bottom one, plug color onto the top one, and in theory this should just work. Hey, there you go. Ta-ta-da-da. And you have yourself a nice pretty ocean. I am not gonna do a full render for this. Like I already have this snazzy animation of a duck floating really shittly on it. Someone mentioned like the duck is not animated correctly, and I know it wasn't animated because I changed the ocean seed. Like you can change the seed if you don't like the shape or the animation of it, but I'm just gonna leave it as 0 because it's like a nice ocean. So yeah, if you were to render this, like a few things I would change in your sampling settings. 128 is fine if you're gonna use a denoiser. If you want to know how to denoise, just Google Blender 2.8 denoising, and you'll probably get down to like enabling denoising data, doing something in a compositor. But okay, this is the important part. So light paths, change 12 down to 4, diffuse 2, glossy 2. It's not ideal if you're going to be using transmissions, but it just gets the scene done really fast. And change reflective and caustics. Okay, yeah, disable these two, they don't do anything to the scene. Cycles is really bad with actual caustics, so you're going to be using these to begin with. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so one thing I've noticed, I'm probably going to have to show you how to render this. So, okay, just go back to modifiers panel and set the resolution to 24, which is like something high. You want to do this at the very last step, because playing this back will be a nightmare to your performance and stuff. So yeah, okay, cool. And let me just add a camera to the cool. I'm not gonna tell you the camera controls. It's just like figure that out on your own. And we're gonna, you know what, just add some depth of field. We're gonna enable some depth of field. Go to your viewport display limits. Move this funny to the monkey. Is that good? Let's see how this looks. Add some more f-stop, like less. Take it less. Way down. Okay. And when we... let's just see how this looks when rendered. Just changing the sun lamp so we got like get a little bit more shape here going. Let's add another monkey. Just like make this thing monkey filled. It's like monkey jelly ocean thing. Okay, and yeah, cool. If it's looking good, press F12 to render this, or alternatively, you can just like click File, File, Render Image, or Render Animation. Make sure it's your settings are correct. Use a PNG sequence, preferably. It's like just the best way of doing it. And yeah, there you go. You have like a ocean filled with monkeys now. Nice. Okay, seriously. Bye.